Hello, my name is Helen Rennie and today we're going to cook duck breasts. You can purchase them at most butchers and Whole Foods markets. To produce a crispy skin, we need to score it before cooking. Take a very sharp knife and slash the skin on a diagonal. Try not to cut through the meat as you do this. Now turn your breast around and slash at 90 degrees to your original direction to make a crisscross pattern. Scoring gives fat plenty of channels to escape. Flip your breast and inspect the meat side. If you see any silver skin, that's the pearly shiny tissue, remove it with a boning or paring knife. Insert the knife like a sewing needle on the connective tissue. Cut to the right to create a flap to hold on to. Flip the knife around and cut to the left. Only trim the silver skin you can see without pulling muscles apart. You want to keep this little muscle known as the tender attached to the main duck breast. Let's set our skillet over high heat to get it ready. But note that I'm not adding any oil to the pan. The duck skin will produce all the fat we need. Let's dry our duck on paper towels. This will help it brown rather than steam. I have a mix of salt and pepper here. I'm only starting to salt my meat when my skillet is already preheating. If you let it sit for a while, the salt will draw out the moisture and ruin all your drying efforts. An even better way to salt is a day or two in advance because it helps the meat hold on to its moisture during cooking and makes it more evenly seasoned. Just don't forget to dry it before cooking. Add the duck skin side down and turn down the heat to very low. Don't touch or move the duck. It will stick initially but will let go in a few minutes if you leave it alone. If you are on an electric stove, you might need to take the pan off heat for a minute or so or have another burner ready on low heat so that you can move the pan. When a significant amount of fat accumulated in the pan, check the thickness of the skin. We want it to be about 1/6 of an inch, in other words, very thin. This looks good and we're ready to move on to the next step. Spoon out as much fat as you can, but don't discard it. You can keep it in your freezer indefinitely and use it to roast potatoes or make duck confit when you accumulate enough of it. Crank up the heat to high and cook the duck for a minute or two to brown the skin. Flip the duck. Turn down the heat and cook for 1 or 2 minutes on the other side. We want more gentle heat on the flesh side so that we don't toughen it. If you want, you can brush the skin side with something sweet like honey, maple syrup or warmed up preserves. When the breasts register about 120 Fahrenheit, they're medium rare and need to come out of the pan. A thermometer is not really necessary for this dish. When you're working with small duck breasts like Long Island's that we have here, by the time the outside is brown, the inside is medium rare. The duck will need 5 minutes to rest. During this time, you can deglaze the pan with a little stock and wine or pour it for a sweeter sauce. Let's slice the duck breast. The best way to present it is by fanning it out on a plate. Top with sauce and serve. From Helen's Kitchen in Boston, happy cooking and baking to you.